Something is wrong with the way we rank the ocean's killers. The sharks you're afraid of, the ones with the biggest teeth, the ones from the movies, have killed almost no one. And the animal that actually kills the most Americans doesn't look dangerous at all. It swims in the warm, shallow water where you take your kids. It can follow you into a river. And here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. When it kills, it isn't hunting you. It doesn't want you. It's making a mistake. The same mistake every time. And that mistake only happens in one specific kind of water. That shadow, by the way, is real. Right now, off every coast in America, people are floating directly above animals built to kill. A great white the length of a car gliding under a surfer's dangling legs, close enough to touch and choosing not to. That choosing not to is the whole story. But to understand why they almost always choose not to, you have to start with the animals we're most afraid of and find out why they're the ones that barely kill at all. Number 10. The barracuda. Long, silver, all muscle and teeth, hanging motionless in the water like a suspended knife. If you've ever seen one up close while diving, your body reacts before your brain does. Everything about it says predator. The underbite. The rows of teeth that don't fully close. The way it tracks you with one flat eye and doesn't blink. People come out of the water convinced they were being stalked. They weren't. Here's the problem with the barracuda's reputation. It's built for one thing, a single explosive strike, faster than almost anything else in the shallows. It can go from stillness to a full-speed hit in a fraction of a second. That strike evolved to catch small, flashing fish darting through reef and sand. And that word matters. Flashing. The barracuda's entire targeting system is tuned to sudden bright glints moving through the water, the flash of scales catching sunlight as a bait fish turns. Now think about what humans wear into the ocean. A watch, a ring, an ankle bracelet, a silver dive knife handle catching a beam of light. To a barracuda's eye, that flash isn't jewelry. It's a fish. The rare barracuda bites on record aren't hunts. They're mistakes, a strike aimed at a glint that happened to be attached to a wrist. The animal isn't hunting you. It's hunting a reflection, and you're standing behind it. The barracuda looks like a killer and isn't. Hold on to that, because it's about to happen 3 more times, and then, right when you've stopped trusting your fear entirely, it's going to be exactly right once. The trick is knowing which one. Number 9. The lemon shark. And this one should be terrifying on paper. It grows over 10 feet long. It has a mouth full of the exact kind of narrow, curved teeth built for gripping. It cruises the warm shallows off Florida and through the Caribbean, often in the same water where people wade, snorkel, and fish. If any shark on this list had the opportunity to hunt humans, statistically, it should be this one. It's right there, in our water, constantly. So how many people have lemon sharks killed in the United States? 0. 32 recorded incidents, not one fatality. And when you look at how those bites actually happen, the story gets almost embarrassing. One of the most recent involved a man off the coast of southwest Florida who was bitten while posing for a photo, holding the shark next to the shark, putting himself inside the strike zone of a wild predator for a picture. That's not an attack. That's a person volunteering a hand to a mouthful of teeth and being surprised by the result. The lemon shark isn't restraining itself out of mercy. It simply has no interest in us. We are not on its menu, we're not shaped like anything on its menu, and left alone, it treats a swimmer as scenery, menace on paper, harmless in the water. That's 2. And if the 2 scariest looking sharks so far have killed no one, it raises a genuinely uncomfortable question. What does the animal that does kill actually look like? Because it's nothing like this. Number 8. The hammerhead. And now the fear gets genuinely strange, because the hammerhead might be the most alien-looking predator in American waters. That head, flattened, stretched sideways into a wing with an eye mounted on each far tip, Looks like a design mistake. Like evolution glitched. It looks like something that shouldn't work. But that head is the whole point. And once you understand it, the hammerhead stops being a monster and becomes something far more interesting. A sensor. Every shark can detect the faint electrical fields that living animals give off. Every heartbeat, every twitching muscle, leaks a tiny electrical signal into the water, and sharks read it through special pores in their skin. Now take that ability and spread it across a head stretched wide like a metal detector. The hammerhead sweeps that head slowly back and forth across the sea floor, scanning a wider strip of sand than any normal shark could, hunting for the electrical whisper of a stingray, buried and hidden beneath it. The strange shape isn't a flaw, it's an antenna. So here's a predator with a sensing system so precise it can find a heartbeat under the sand. And of the 9 species of hammerhead, only 3 are ever considered a risk to people at all. Confirmed hammerhead attacks on humans number in the teens. A tiny handful were ever fatal. This animal that looks engineered to hunt is, in reality, almost entirely focused on prey that spends its life hiding, and a swimming human, loud and electrically noisy, is not what it's built to strike. The scariest face on the list so far belongs to one of the safest sharks in it. That's 3. Number 7. The sand tiger shark. And this one is the cruelest trick your eyes will play on you because the sand tiger looks like the exact shark from your nightmares. Its mouth never fully closes. Even at rest, it swims with a permanent snarl, rows of thin, needle-sharp, ragged teeth jutting out in every direction, visible from several feet away. Divers who see one for the first time often freeze. This is the shark that costume designers copy. This is the shark that gets painted on the side of fighter jets. And it is, for humans, almost completely harmless. Roughly 47 attacks on record, with a fatality rate down around 2%. Those chaotic teeth aren't built for tearing large prey apart. They're built for gripping small, slippery fish, holding, not shredding. And the sand tiger does something no other shark can do, a trick that reveals what it's really optimized for. It rises to the surface and gulps air, swallowing it, holding it in its stomach like a diver's buoyancy vest. That mouthful of air lets it hang in the water column perfectly still, weightless, motionless, so it can hover and ambush fish with almost no movement at all. That's not the behavior of an animal that hunts hard, fast, and violently. That's the behavior of a patient, efficient predator that has no reason to bother something as large, bony, and difficult as a person. The snarl is marketing. The biology underneath is calm, which means every single face your instincts flagged as dangerous just came back clean. All 4. And that's not comforting. That's the scariest thing I could have told you. Because the killer is still on this list. We just haven't met it yet. And now you have no idea what it looks like. Because here's what happens when you remove the animals we're afraid of from the list of animals that actually kill. You're left with the ones we're not afraid of. The ones that don't look like movie monsters. The ones that swim in the warm, cloudy, familiar water where you take your kids. The water that feels safe. Precisely because nothing about it looks dangerous. The deadliest predator off the American coast doesn't have the biggest teeth. It doesn't have an alien head or a mouth that won't close. It looks, honestly, kind of ordinary. And its most dangerous trait isn't its bite at all. It's that it can do something no shark is supposed to be able to do. It can leave the ocean. It can swim up into rivers, into lakes, into the brown, murky shallows where the water turns to fresh water, and every rule you thought protected you stops applying. It doesn't wait for you to come out to it. It follows us inland. Number 6. And to understand why this shark is number 6 and not higher, you need to understand what it does to your sense of safety. The blacktip shark and its cousin the spinner shark are the reason Florida leads the entire country in shark bites. Every summer, they move into the surf zone, the exact strip of breaking waves where children boogie board and families stand waist deep. They chase schools of baitfish straight into the shallows, and sometimes they collide with the people standing in the middle of that chaos. Black tips alone account for well over 100 recorded bites, most of them in American water. The spinner adds dozens more. That sounds like the top of the list. It isn't. Because here's the split that runs through this entire countdown. The one thing you have to hold on to: the shark that bites the most Americans and the shark that kills the most Americans are not the same animal. Black tips and spinners bite constantly and kill almost never. A black tip is a fast, nervous 3 to 5 foot fish that hits, realizes its mistake, and leaves. The wound is real, the stitches are real, the death is not. These are the sharks responsible for the terrifying headline, and the swimmer who walks out of the ER the same day with a story. High volume, low lethality. Remember that, because we're about to meet the opposite. From here, the list changes. Everything before this bit you and stitched you back up. Everything after this killed someone whose name we know. So if you've been telling yourself the ocean is safe, this is where I'd stop telling yourself that. Number 5. The tiger shark. And now the numbers start to turn dark. The tiger shark is the second most dangerous shark to humans on Earth, and off the American coast it has one specific address: Hawaii. This is the shark that patrols the reef drop-offs and murky river-fed shallows of the islands, and it is enormous, up to 14 feet, over 1,000 pounds. But size isn't what makes it deadly. What makes it deadly is its appetite, which is essentially indiscriminate. Most sharks are specialists. The tiger shark is not. It has been found with sea turtles, birds, other sharks, and genuine garbage in its stomach. Its whole survival strategy is a willingness to test almost anything as food. And that single trait, that lack of pickiness, is exactly what removes the safety margin the rest of the list gives you. A lemon shark ignores you because you're not on its menu. The tiger shark's menu is everything. In April of 2004, a 57-year-old man named Willis McInnes was surfing off the coast of Maui. A tiger shark killed him, not a nervous surf zone bite. A large, powerful predator that made contact and did not let go. That's the difference between number 6 and number 5. One bites and flees, the other commits. But the tiger shark is not the deadliest shark in American water, because for all its size and appetite, it mostly stays out where the deep reef meets open ocean. It's dangerous where we visit. The next one is dangerous where we live. Number 4, the great white shark, the one you were waiting for. The face on every poster, the silhouette from the movie, the animal the entire world agrees is the ultimate ocean killer. And here is where I have to correct the single biggest assumption people carry into this. Yes, globally, the great white has killed more people than any other shark. But look closely at how it kills off the American coast, and the story stops being about a monster and becomes something stranger. The great white owns the cold water, not the warm Florida shallows, the deep, cold, grey Pacific off California, where the seals are. Its signature move is an ambush from directly below. It hangs deep in the dark water beneath its target, looks up, and sees a silhouette against the bright surface. Then it explodes upward with enough force to launch its entire body out of the water. That strike evolved for one purpose: to hit a seal from underneath before the seal ever knows it's there. Now put a surfer on the surface, lying flat on a board, arms and legs dangling, seen from 40 feet below, backlit against the bright sky. You already know what that silhouette looks like. In August of 2003, Deborah Franzman, 50 years old, was swimming off Avila Beach in California when a great white struck her from below. A year later, in August of 2004, Randy Fry, 50, was diving off Mendocino when a great white killed him. Years earlier, in 1994, 25-year-old Michelle von Emster died off Point Loma near San Diego. Different people, different years, the same cold California water. And this is the part that matters. Very likely the same mistake. The great white wasn't hunting a human. It was executing a flawless attack on what it believed from below was a seal. That's the reversal, hiding inside the world's most feared predator. Its most fatal move is not an act of hunger aimed at you. It's a case of mistaken identity performed with terrifying precision. The great white almost never comes back for a second bite, because once it makes contact, it often realizes, too late, but it realizes that what it hit was bony and wrong and not a seal at all. So if the great white is the world's deadliest shark, and it's only number 4 on America's list, what could possibly be ahead of it? Number 3, the bull shark, the one from the start, the one that follows us inland. Everything that should protect you from a shark, the bull shark ignores. Sharks belong in salt water, but the bull shark's body can regulate its own salt balance, which means it can swim out of the ocean, up a river mouth, into brackish estuaries, into fresh water, the way almost no other large shark can. It has been found miles up rivers, in lakes, in water, where no one thinks to be afraid, because the entire mental map we use for shark safety says sharks can't reach here. The bull shark reaches there, and it hunts in exactly the conditions that hide it best: warm, murky, shallow, low visibility water. The brown water at a river mouth, the cloudy shallows of a bay, the places that feel the safest, precisely because you can't see anything menacing in them. In August of 2000, 69-year-old Thaddeus Kubinski was swimming in Boca Ciega Bay in Florida when a bull shark killed him. A bay, not the open ocean. In June of 2005, a 14-year-old girl named Jamie Marie Daigle was in the water off Destin, Florida, when a bull shark attacked and killed her. A teenager off a Florida beach in the summer, in warm, shallow water, the single most ordinary swimming scene in America. That's why the bull shark ranks above the great white on this list. Not because it's bigger, not because it's stronger, because of where it kills. The great white kills in the cold, deep grey water most Americans never enter. The bull shark kills in the warm, shallow, brown water where we take our children. It has erased the one boundary we thought protected us, the edge of the ocean itself. So look at what we've built. The countdown has inverted completely. The animals we fear most, the barracuda, the lemon shark, the hammerhead, the sand tiger, turned out to be nearly harmless. And the animals that actually kill Americans turned out to be a nervous surf zone biter, a cold water case of mistaken identity, and a shark that follows us into fresh water. But there's something underneath all of this that I haven't told you yet. Because when you line up these real fatal attacks side by side, the tiger shark off Maui, the great whites off California, the bull sharks in the Florida shallows, they share a single hidden detail, a common denominator that has nothing to do with which species did it. In almost every fatal case, the predator made the same error, and that error only happens in one specific kind of water. Get out of that water. And even these top-tier killers turn back into animals that don't want you at all. The countdown was never really about the sharks. It was about a blind spot. Number 2. And this one isn't a new species. It's a condition. Because to get to the real number 1, you have to understand what all these attacks have in common. And it's not teeth, it's the water. Go back through every fatal attack and ask one question. What did the water look like? The bull sharks killed in warm, brown, murky shallows. The great whites struck in the deep, grey, low-light Pacific, hitting a silhouette from below. The surf zone bites happened in churning, sediment-filled waves, where baitfish flash and boil. Look at the timing, too. So many attacks cluster around dawn and dusk, the 2 windows when the light is weakest and the water is hardest to read. There's a pattern here, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Sharks don't attack in the conditions where they can see clearly. They attack in the conditions where they can't. That's number 2 on this list. Not an animal. A blind spot. Low visibility, murk, dim light, churning sand is the single most dangerous variable. in the entire ocean, more dangerous than any species, because it's the thing that turns a harmless encounter into a fatal one. And to understand why, you have to go back to how these predators actually see the world. Every hunting trait we've talked about, the great white's ambush from below, the bull shark's shallow water patrol, the tiger shark's testing bite, evolved for one environment: clear water, or at least water clear enough for the shark to identify what it's looking at before it commits. A great white that can see its target clearly can tell a surfboard from a seal. It usually does. That's why the overwhelming majority of the time, a shark investigates a swimmer, recognizes that we're wrong, too bony, too thin, no fat, no blubber, and simply leaves. The attack happens when that recognition system fails. When the water is too murky, the light too dim, the silhouette too ambiguous. The shark can't get the information it needs to say that's not food, so it makes a decision on incomplete data. It commits to a shape, and the shape is you. That's the error hiding under every fatal case. The tiger shark off Maui, the great whites off California, the bull sharks in the Florida shallows, in nearly all of them, the predator struck something it could not clearly identify, in water that hid the truth until it was too late. The bite isn't the sign of a hunt, it's the sign of a mistake made in the dark. Which brings us, finally, to number one. Number one isn't a shark. Number one is the water. Not the ocean, a specific kind of water. Murky, dim, warm, churned up and brown, or grey with low dawn light. This is the real predator on the list, because it's the thing that turns every harmless shark on Earth into a killer. And it does it by attacking something you didn't know could be attacked, not your body. The shark's eyes. In clear water, a shark can see what you are. Too bony, too thin, no blubber, no fat, nothing that reads as food. It looks, it recognizes, it leaves, which is what happens in the overwhelming majority of the millions of times a human and a shark share the water, and you never even know it. But murky water takes that recognition away. It blinds the one system standing between you and those teeth. And a blind predator doesn't stop hunting. It just stops being sure and commits anyway. And now let me show you how rare this actually is, because the numbers are going to hit differently after everything you've just seen. In all of 2025, across the entire planet, there were 65 unprovoked shark bites. 9 of them were fatal. 9. In the whole world. In the United States, the country with more recorded shark attacks than any other, more than 1,400 since people started keeping count, a single person died from a shark in 2025. 1. An experienced swimmer off the coast of California in December. Now hold that against something you never think about. Between 1959 and 2010, lightning killed roughly 2,000 people in America's coastal areas. In that same half-century, sharks killed 26. You are not slightly more likely to be killed by the sky than the sea. You are almost 100 times more likely. The thing you fear when you're standing in the water is a rounding error next to the storm you'd walk out onto the sand to avoid. So where did the fear come from? Why does an animal that kills roughly 1 American a year live in our nightmares like it's hunting us on purpose? It came from 1 week. The summer of 1916, along the New Jersey shore. In the span of about 12 days, a series of shark attacks killed 4 people, including victims struck in a tidal creek, inland, in exactly the kind of murky, brackish water we now know a bull shark can reach. The country lost its mind. It was front-page news for weeks. And decades later, that panic became the seed of a novel, and then a film. And that film rewired the way an entire civilization thinks about the ocean. Almost everything you feel when you can't see your feet in the water traces back to 12 days in 1916 and a movie that took the fear and made it permanent. 4 deaths a century ago built a monster that the real animal has never lived up to. Remember the mistake I promised you at the very start. Here it is. Because here's the truth the whole countdown has been walking you toward. Not one predator on this list hunts humans. The phrase in the title, the phrase that made you click, describes something that doesn't actually exist. There is no shark off the American coast that wants to eat you. There is no species that sees a swimmer and thinks prey. We are not on the menu. We are not shaped like anything on the menu. And the moment a shark gets a clear look at us, it confirms exactly that and moves on. Every death on this list is the same tragedy from a different angle. A near-perfect predator, in water too murky or too dim to see clearly, striking a shape it could not identify and getting it wrong. The great white didn't want a person. It wanted a seal and saw a silhouette. The bull shark didn't stalk a child. It struck a movement in brown water it couldn't read. The tiger shark tested something ambiguous because testing is how it survives. None of it was hunger aimed at us. All of it was recognition failing in the dark. That's why the fear was pointed the wrong way this entire time. We built our terror around teeth and size and the animals that looked like killers. But the teeth were never the problem. The great white's teeth work fine. It's the great white's eyes in the wrong water that kill. The danger was never in the mouth of the animal. It was in the conditions that stopped the animal from seeing what we are. So here's the uncomfortable truth underneath all of it. The shark supplies the teeth. But the water, dim, murky, dawn, dusk, that part, we walk into ourselves. Every fatal attack on this list is a person and a predator meeting in the one place the predator goes blind. The shark didn't choose you. You chose the water. So picture it one more time. A shoreline at dawn. The light still low and grey. The water at the surf line brown with churned up sand. The kind of murk where a shape is just a shape. A swimmer moving through it. And somewhere below, a predator built by millions of years of evolution to make one clean, instant decision about what's food and what isn't. And in this water, on this morning, unable to make it. The ocean isn't watching you with intent. It isn't hunting. It doesn't know you're there, and it doesn't care. It simply, sometimes in the wrong light, cannot tell what you are. The countdown was never really about the 10 deadliest predators. It was about the one patch of water where a predator stops being able to see. Stay out of it. The dim light, the murky shallows, the dawn and the dusk, and every monster on this list turns back into what it always was. An animal that never wanted you in the first place.